and Marana. Bickley and Marana mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Did you hear the sound of a meteor hitting Earth last night? Alas, it was the sound of the Suns crashing out, a basketball team hitting rock bottom, and now they're at an ugly, painful fork in the road. Do they throw good money after bad and pursue Jimmy Butler, or do they tear it down to the studs by trading Kevin Durant, praying that James Jones can build another young team around Devin Booker? A real team. Now, nobody wants to endure a taxing rebuild. Not me, not you, not anybody, especially not when we thought we were so close to a title. But here's the deal. Even if you acquire the leadership and the smoke of Butler, you're trading away your entire future and all of your remaining assets for a 35-year-old veteran who has now quit on 2 teams. Those are the facts. You are trading for a guy who is only coming here for money because Matt Ishbia is the only owner willing to give Butler exactly what he wants, just like Ishbia was the only one who would take on Bradley Beal's contract. Now, I cannot and will not criticize Ishbia for his desire to win and his desire to spend. It's everything you want in an owner. But now might be the time for somebody to throw up a stop sign and look into moving KD to Houston right here, right now. See if you can extract enough draft picks in return to make it viable. Because these Suns are consistently outplayed, outworked, outdunked, outrebounded, and outhustled, and Jimmy Butler isn't going to solve all of those issues plaguing our basketball team. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
I don't see how that happens. Phoenix is landlocked with bad contracts. They're into the second apron. The only way that a deal gets done with Phoenix is if Miami is willing to absorb Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal has 2.5 years and well over $100 million left in his contract. I mean, Miami just told Jimmy Butler that they won't give him 2 more years. Why would they take on Bradley Beal? You'd have to get a third team involved, and that gets even more complicated because Beal has a no-trade clause, which he would have to waive. Would he waive it to go to Miami? Probably. There was talk about Beal going to Miami back when he was being traded by the Wizards. Would he waive it to go to Detroit or Charlotte or San Antonio, if any of those teams even wanted him? I doubt it.
That's Chris Maddox from the Open Floor podcast, kind of playing a little refresher on what's out there right now. You're going down that road in the Blast. Kevin Durant is I don't know if he's the most valuable asset on the Phoenix Suns roster. Certainly one of the top 2. When you consider age, I mean, I think Devin Booker could probably bring back more in a trade. Mm-hmm. I don't want to trade Devin Booker. I don't want to trade Kevin Durant.
I don't want to trade either of them.
But this is the situation that the Suns might be in. Do you stand pat? Do you go all, in this all in pursuit of Jimmy Butler, or do you tear the whole thing down? I don't know what the correct answer is right now.
Listen, I'm fine if they can pull off the Jimmy Butler thing for Bradley Beal. They will effectively just bring in, and they'll have to extend Jimmy Butler. Then they'll extend Kevin Durant. So then again, we're going to be stuck with the same exact model, and we're going to hope that the leadership component of Jimmy Butler and the swag and the culture he'd bring with him, the culture we like to make fun of all the time, but it's clearly missing in Phoenix. The hope would be that would be enough to finally lift this team over the top. I don't know. I want to say go that route. I really do.
Yes.
But I don't know if it fixes a lot of these issues we're talking about.
What we talked about, too, early in the show is Brian Windhorst reporting that Jimmy Butler is dead set on coming to Phoenix because he is identified through whatever avenues he's gone down that the Suns are the one and only team that at this point in his career is willing to give him a max contract extension.
Right. That's right.
When you're coming from the outside and Jimmy Butler leaving a team that was revered, and we poked fun at it for years, revered for its culture, Heat culture, he's turned his back on that culture that has been good to him in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And if the eyeballs of Jimmy Butler and his people have dollar signs obscuring their vision, there's no reason to believe they know what the internal issues of the Phoenix Suns are.
That's very well said. I couldn't say that better myself.
And I know we just talked to Tim Ring about it, and Tim gave the interesting analogy. You got 48 hours to live. A doctor says, take the pill. It might kill you immediately, or you might get better. He's taking the pill. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Butler is the pill. What are the side effects of the pill?
It's a great question. It really, really is, because I find it very off-putting that he would be making this play now while earning $50 million a year in Miami, because this idea I can get that money right here and now from Phoenix, because they're desperate right here and now, and they need me right here and now.
But the way that's being presented from the Jimmy Butler standpoint is what appears to be important for him.
Yes, money.
Is financial security moving further into the future.
It does. That's exactly what appears to be important to him. So that's what worries me. What worries me is continuing to take wild swings of the bat and then looking back and going, how in the heck did we get here? Mm-hmm. And how long till we can even hope to be competitive again? So, look, and there's just so many issues with this basketball team. The try-hard part really bothers me. It bothers a lot of people. There's just not that innocent, pure, come on, guys, let's go win this thing. Come on. There's just this. And look, and I think a lot of it has to do established brands of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant maybe being asked to do things that they feel like, why are you asking me to change my game? Why are you asking me to shoot more three-pointers? I'm Kevin freaking Durant. I'm Devin Booker. There might be some of that in there, but I also know the way those two guys roll, and those two guys roll in a way where they're just kind of lone wolf cool, super cool, lone wolf kind of dudes, and it's not creating the kind of vibe where everyone is coming in with their hair on fire for the cause. It's just I'm not saying that's fact. I'm just saying that's my observation.
And that's all we can go on right now.
And that's all we can go on now.
But I think the eyeball test is pretty valuable in this instance.
Yeah, and so now you got Bradley Beal, who, as he has said, holds all the cards. And if he is really, if he's really angry or feels like, I can't believe they just did this to me, they played me like this. Because keep in mind now, Bradley Beal knows the business. Bradley Beal is very sharp. But now it's all over everywhere. Brian Windhorst said it definitively on ESPN yesterday on their most watched television show that Bradley Beal is being benched because they're trying to tell him, get out of here. We don't want you. And it's not necessarily that. It's that they want him to say, go ahead, trade me anywhere. Yeah. So they could maybe go to Detroit and consummate a deal. But there's real human consequences to that because now Bradley Beal's been embarrassed.
Yeah. And Bradley Beal's agent, Mark Bartelstein, talked to Brian Windhorst, who's got another article out this morning, and Mark Bartelstein is making it very clear that Bradley Beal, nor himself, have been approached by anybody about waiving a no-trade clause. So that's where we are.
Right. Which means the Suns can't get anybody to sign off on this deal conceptually before they bring it to Bradley Beal. Now, the idea that floated around yesterday was even if you wanted to go down that Jimmy Butler path with a trade partner like Detroit, how can you make it possible for another team to absorb Bradley Beal's contract, which includes a no-trade clause? It surfaced yesterday from a couple of different sources that 2 number 1 draft picks would get that done. I guess that sounds feasible. How do you get that second one, though?
You only have one. And that hits 6 years from now.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And so maybe if you traded Kevin Durant, you could use one of those picks that you get back and then trade Bradley Beal as well. And then now you've got a young team, Devin Booker. Now we're all back to the start. But who wants to be there? Nobody wants to be there. So, yeah, so I am very biased because I don't want to live through a rebuild. Nobody does. No. So I would vote for the Jimmy Butler option, but I'm doing that knowing this is not right. This is not happening for the right reasons, and there's a lot of issues here that transcend that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to use another medical analogy, you have a life-threatening injury, and to me, the Jimmy Butler situation would be, okay, you get it, you go in for surgery, but you come out with cheek implants. It's not going to save your life. It's going to put a Band-Aid on things for a second.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.